Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. In today's video, I'll be using Love from Lizi's September 2024 super kit called Indigoletta. September is Love from Lizi's birthday month, and she always offers a fun super kit that's packed full of crafty goodies. If you're interested in the kit or subscribing, I do have links in the description box below. I'll be making 10 cards using products from the kit along with a few extras from my room. For card number 1, I'm using one of the card bases that's included in the kit. This is a 6x6 size and it has a large circle cut out of the center. I selected this lovely floral pattern paper from the kit, and the pattern paper is 6x6 inches, so it fits perfectly on this card base. I cut out that large circle opening using Love from Lizi's Stitch Circle die set. And I kept that cut out circle, and I'll be putting it on one of the inside folds of this card base. Using one of the light purple cardstocks that's included in the kit, I cut a slightly smaller square. I'll adhere that piece down, put glue on the back of the stitch circle die cut of the pattern paper, and adhere it on the center of the light purple cardstock piece. For a little bit of shine and detail, I'm using some Love from Lizi peel-offs and adding a shiny frame on just that inside edge of the pattern paper. I believe this is the mauve mirror color in the pinstripe style, and I'm using the medium width. I'll put one strip along the inside edge, about 1/8 of an inch in. And for now, I'll leave those strips hanging off the edge. Then I'll add another strip on the other side. Then using a craft knife, I'll press it in the very corner where the two peel-off pieces meet, creating this nice mitered corner. I'll continue adding peel-offs along the outside edge, miter those corners together until I have this beautiful shiny frame. Using more Love from Lizi peel-offs, this time the butterfly border set in the silver moon dust color. I'll add 3 butterflies in the upper right-hand corner and 2 butterflies in the lower left-hand corner. Just a little extra detail for the inside of the card. I decided to leave a sentiment off of this card. Once I know who the card recipient will be, I'll stamp something on that very inside panel. Now I'll set aside the card base and start working on the inside panel that will be visible through that cutout circle on the front. I have a piece of white cardstock, and this is included in the kit. And I'm using a Love from Lizi stencil that was included in a previous kit, I believe last year. It's called Hydrangea, and this is available for purchase individually. I'll hold the stencil down with some mint tape from scrapbook.com, and the ink color I'm using is Distress Oxide Iced Spruce. I'm adding darker color in the very center and gradually getting lighter as I go outside from that center. I'm not worried about going all the way on the outside since that will be covered up with the pattern paper. Now I'll put adhesive on the back and add this panel on the very inside of the card. And I probably should have cut this piece just a little bit smaller since I couldn't fold that front flap. So I did use a pair of scissors and trimmed off a little bit of that extra. And it won't be visible because I am adhering these two parts of the card base together. After I cut off that little portion, I'll refold the card base, making sure it all lays nice and flat. I'll put adhesive on the back of the very center piece of the card base, and this will be the very front. So now when I fold it all together, it looks like a normal card base. It just has that opening with the beautiful stencil design. I selected one of the lovely floral ephemera pieces, and I did put foam dimension on the back. I'll remove the release paper and add the floral image on the center of that circle cutout area. I love the beautiful floral ephemera pieces that are included in the kit, and they're a nice heavyweight cardstock. For embellishments, I'm adding one of the pre-tied bows that's included in the kit. Light purple, and it has tiny circle designs. I'll put a glue dot on the back to adhere to the card, and I'm adding it in the lower right-hand corner of that stenciled cutout circle. For a final finishing touch, I'll add more of the butterfly peel-offs. This is the same silver moon dust color. Put 3 on the right side of the floral piece and 2 in the upper left-hand corner. This peel-off style is so fun. It has the little border with the cutout butterflies, or you can use just the tiny butterfly pieces. So there is my finished card. Love this beautiful design. And Lizi did include a coordinating envelope, so you don't have to worry about trying to find a 6x6 size envelope. Now moving on to card number 2, and this is a very simple card design. Several of the pattern papers have beautiful floral designs on either the side or in the corner. This paper had that floral design in the corner. So I cut down this panel to 5 1/4 of an inch by 4 inches. I'll be layering it on some dark green cardstock from my stash. I've already stamped the sentiment, "Thank you for all you do." For that little extra detail, I'll put 2 Love from Lizi peel-offs toward the bottom of the card, and this is the new peel-off color that's included in the kit. I used the widest and the medium width. I wrapped the ends around the back, layered this piece on the green cardstock, put ATG tape on the back, and I'll add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. To finish off the card, using more of the butterfly peel-offs in the silver moon dust color. Put 2 above the sentiment on the right side and 1 underneath the sentiment on the left side. So there is my finished card. Very simple design, but with such beautiful pattern paper, I didn't think it needed anything extra. For card design number 3, I have a lovely pattern paper with another floral design in the upper left-hand corner. Using Love from Lizi's outer stitched rectangle die set, I cut out a rectangle toward the bottom of the card, and this is where I'll be adding the sentiment. I love how it adds that stitch detail around the cutout rectangle piece. Lizi also has a regular stitched rectangle die set, so it's fun to have the 2 different options. I'm adding some Love from Lizi peel-offs on the right and left side of that cutout area. This is the white with silver overlay color in the pinstripe style, and I'm using the medium width. I'll wrap the ends on the inside and the outside of this pattern paper piece. Then I'll layer it on some green cardstock. And this green cardstock is from my stash. I'll make sure to add lots of adhesive on the back of the pattern paper panel before layering it on the green cardstock layer. And that green cardstock layer is an additional 1/8 of an inch. Now I'll put ATG tape on the back and add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. I've already stamped out the sentiment, "Thank you for all you do." And I'll inlay the sentiment piece inside the cutout rectangle area. Now I'll bring in several of the floral ephemera pieces, and I'll add a small floral arrangement in the lower right-hand corner. I love that Lizi included some full floral pieces and also some individuals. So this time I'm using individual flowers and individual foliage pieces. I will pop up the 2 flowers using some small circle foam dimension from scrapbook.com. I'll remove the release paper, adhere the 2 flowers down first. Now I'll tuck in all the leaves and foliage pieces underneath the flowers. And if the stems are a little bit too long, I will trim them off. It won't be visible since I'm tucking them underneath the flowers. I'll put glue on the back of the foliage pieces, and I'm using Barely Art glue. And to make sure I didn't lose any of the ephemera pieces, I had them stored in one of scrapbook.com's stack and sort trays. This is the smaller size. And to finish off the card, I'll add more of the silver moon dust butterfly peel-offs. Put 1 on the left side of the sentiment, 2 above the sentiment on the right side, and 2 around that floral image in the upper left-hand corner. This sheet of peel-offs is included in one of the add-on peel-off bundles that coordinate with the kit. Love from Lizi peel-offs are some of my favorite crafting products, and I love having the fun variety of styles and colors. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 3. For card number 4, I selected this lovely floral paper for the background, and I cut it out using Love from Lizi's stitched rectangle die set. On the left side of the card, I'm adding some of the watercolor looking pattern paper. On the left side of this strip, I'm adding this fun border die cut, and this die is included in the kit. I cut it out from green cardstock, and this green cardstock is from my stash. I'll layer the stitched floral die cut piece on the same green cardstock. I'll put adhesive on the back and add this piece on the left side of the card. For a little bit of shine, I'll be adding some Love from Lizi peel-offs along the edge of this watercolor strip. This time I'm using the silver mirror color in the pinstripe style, and I have the narrowest width. I like to leave the peel-offs just a little bit longer than the panel, then I'll wrap the ends around the back. I've never had a peel-off come off of my card before, but I want to make sure it stays in place, so wrapping those ends around the back just ensures that everything is nice and secure. Next, I'll put ATG tape on the back and add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. For a sentiment, I've already gone ahead and stamped and heat embossed it. The ink color I used is Distress Ice Spruce, and the embossing powder is Glossy Clear from Love from Lizi. The kit doesn't include a die set to cut out the sentiment, so I simply fussy cut it out. I added Thinking of You in the center of that lovely floral frame, and I will pop it up using foam dimension. I'm using scrapbook.com's large foam squares, and I like to use all of that foam, so I'm also using some of the negative portion on the very inside. No point of wasting some perfectly good foam. I'll adhere the sentiment down, then for a final finishing touch, adding more of the butterfly peel-offs, this time in the mauve mirror color. Put 3 of them around the sentiment. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 4. For card number 5, I will be using a card sketch for inspiration. This is from Freshly Made Sketches. It's number 652. And if you're interested in this sketch, including measurements, I share that on my coordinating blog post. The link is in the description box below, or you can simply head over to KristieMarcotte.com. For the background of my card, I selected 2 pattern papers. At the top, I have some of the purple and green watercolor design. And at the bottom, it has some yellow flowers with green foliage pieces. I'll put both of those on some of the purple cardstock that's included in the kit. Across the center of the card, I'm adding a narrow strip of white pearlescent cardstock. And this is one of the card bases that's included in the kit. I simply cut it down. I'll add some double-sided adhesive tape on the top area of that pearlescent strip and adhere one of the off-white skinny ribbon pieces. I'll wrap the ends around the back, put ATG tape on the back, and add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. I'll be adding one of the lovely floral ephemera pieces. I don't want to lose all that beautiful watercolor background, so I'll adhere the floral ephemera piece on a vellum stitched circle die cut, and I use Love from Lizi's stitch circle die set for that circle. Before adhering the ephemera piece on the vellum circle, I'll hold the 2 pieces together, and with a pair of scissors, I'll cut just the bottom portion of the circle and ephemera piece off. I could use my trimmer, but I decided just to grab a pair of scissors since they were closer on hand. Put a little bit of adhesive in the center of the vellum circle, since I know that area will be covered up with the ephemera piece. Now I'll add foam dimension on the back of the floral ephemera piece, remove the release paper, and adhere it on the circle. Trying to make sure to line up that cut edge of the circle. Now I'll lift up the edges of the circle, add just a tiny bit of Barely Art glue underneath in the areas where I know that ephemera piece will cover it up. For a sentiment, I've already stamped out "On Your Special Day," and I added a couple of the tiny floral images, and these are all included on the stamp set in the kit. Stamped it on some yellow cardstock from my stash, and I layered it on some vellum. I'll pop up the sentiment using more foam dimension. This time I have the 1/4 inch foam strips from scrapbook.com in the 1mm thickness. I'll add the sentiment underneath the floral image. Then for a final finishing touch, adding some of the purple gem stickers that are included in the kit. Put 3 in the upper left-hand corner and 2 in the lower right-hand corner. For card design number 6, using one of my favorite card sketches. This is from OWH, it's number 218. For the background of my card, I'm using one of the pearlescent card bases, and I simply trimmed it down to 5 1/4 inch by 4 inches. For the strip that goes across the card, using some of the purple and off-white watercolor design. And for that larger rectangle image, I'm featuring one of the lovely floral images of pattern paper. I'll layer that piece on some green cardstock. After adding the watercolor strip at the bottom of the white pearlescent cardstock, I'll put some of the Love from Lizi peel-offs that are included in the kit. It's this beautiful lilac color with silver overlay. Using the medium width, I'll wrap the ends around the back, and since that top area will be covered up with the large floral panel, I'm able to use some of those smaller scrap pieces of peel-offs. I'll layer this piece on the same green cardstock, put ATG tape on the back, and add my card front onto a card base. Before adhering the floral panel down, I will add a scrap cardstock piece on just that top area where it goes off of that watercolor strip. And that'll help it stay at the same level. For a sentiment, I've already stamped out "On Your Special Day," stamped it on some white cardstock. I'll cut a fishtail on the left side, and I'll be layering this sentiment strip on the same dark green cardstock. Putting some ATG tape on the back, I'll line it up on one of the outside corners. Then using a pair of scissors, I'll cut that fishtail, and I'm leaving about 1/16 of a border around the sentiment. It's probably better to use a trimmer to cut that bottom edge, but I'll just use a pair of scissors. I find I can get a straighter cut if I use a larger pair of scissors. Next, I'll add some scrap cardstock pieces on just the right side of the sentiment where it'll be going off of that floral panel. Then I'll put glue on the back and adhere it in place. On the right side of the sentiment, I'll add some of the ephemera pieces, this lovely soft orange flower and 2 green leaves. I'll place the flower and the leaves down without adhesive. Then I'll put glue on the back of the 2 leaves, adhere those down first. Then I'll put glue on the back of the flower and adhere it in place. And it helps bring out some of that soft peach color of the pattern paper. Just glue those in place with Barely Art glue. Then for a final finishing touch, I'll add 3 of the purple gem stickers that are included in the kit. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 6. Now moving on to card number 7. The card sketch is from Mojo Monday. This is number 539. I selected another lovely floral paper for the background, and for the narrow strip on the left side of the card, using more of the watercolor paper. And I like how I cut this strip and ended up with 3 different colors of that watercolor design. I'll layer it on some green cardstock. For the narrow strip that goes across the card, using more of the green cardstock, But before adhering it down, I will put some scrap cardstock pieces on the right and left side where it goes over that watercolor strip. And I did end up adding 2 layers of this scrap cardstock. After I've added all of those layers, I'll put barely art glue on the back and adhere the narrow strip toward the bottom of the card, following the design of the card sketch. Layer the background on the same green cardstock, put ATG tape on the back, and add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. For most of my cardstock layers, I add an additional 1/8 of an inch. If you prefer a wider layer, you could add an additional 1/4 of an inch. We're adding another beautiful floral ephemera piece. And since that background is very busy with the floral paper, I'll make sure to add the floral ephemera piece on a white circle die cut. And I cut this out from more of the pearlescent card bases that are included in the kit. Before adhering the stitch circle die cut down, I will add a scrap cardstock piece just in that upper right hand area behind the circle. That way it doesn't dip down in that spot. I did pop up the floral ephemera piece with some more foam dimension. For a sentiment, I'm adding thank you. This is part of the sentiment that's included in the kit, but the whole sentiment is thank you for all you do. I simply masked off the rest of the sentiment, so I only have thank you. I stamped the sentiment on some of the light purple watercolor pattern paper, and I will pop up the left side of the sentiment since it goes off the edge of that circle die cut. Using some light green cardstock from my stash, I'll cut a banner and adhere it in the upper left-hand corner. Then for a final finishing touch, adding more of the butterfly peel-offs, this time using the mauve mirror color. I'll put 3 butterflies on the banner in the upper left-hand corner, and 2 on the right side of the floral image in the lower right hand corner. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 7. I love the beautiful floral designs in this kit. Now moving on to card number 8. For the top portion of my card, using some of the lovely floral pattern paper, and at the bottom of my card, I have some light green cardstock from my stash, and I've already stamped the sentiment, thinking of you. I'll add both of these panels on some green cardstock. And using the other border die that's included in the kit, I'll add the border piece between the pattern paper and the cardstock piece. I put some double-sided adhesive tape on the back of that top area of the border. Next, I'll add a Love from Lizi peel-off using the white color with silver overlay. This is the medium width. Putting it toward the top of that border die cut piece. I'll wrap the ends around the back, put ATG tape on the back, and add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. On the very right side, I'll be adding one of the larger light purple pre-tied bows. And underneath it, I'm putting 3 of the lovely floral ephemera pieces, these little floral sprigs. I'll glue those down first. Then I'll add the bow right on top. And I'm leaving some of the stems of those floral pieces peeking out beneath the bow. To adhere the bow down, I'll put several glue dots on the back side. I like how the floral sprigs sort of blend into that floral background, but they don't get completely lost since they have that nice white border around the images. So another very simple card design, but I love how this turned out. Now moving on to card number 9, I will be using a card sketch for inspiration. This is from Cards TV. It's sketch number 21. For those 2 narrow strips, using more of the lovely floral pattern paper, and for the background of my card, using some solid light green cardstock, but I did cut it out using Love from Lizi's stitched rectangle die, adding that fun faux stitch detail along the outside edge. At the bottom of the card, putting a strip of the watercolor pattern paper. Most of it's purple. There's a little bit of off-white on the right side. Along the edge of that strip, I'll add more of the peel-offs that are included in the kit, the lovely purple with silver overlay. Wrap the ends around the back, layer this piece on some dark green cardstock, put ATG tape on the back and add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. Next, I'll add the 2 narrow floral strips. The one with the larger floral design will go on the right side. Then the smaller floral design, which is also a longer strip, will go on the left side. And I'm simply gluing these down with Barely Art glue. For a sentiment, I stamped out Thinking of You, and I cut it out using Love from Lizi's Stitch Circle die set. Using the next size up circle die, I cut out this lovely silver glittery matted layer. And the glitter paper is from one of Love from Lizi's add-ons for the September release. I did place an acrylic block on top for some added weight while the glue dried, since I'm adhering that sentiment piece on a glittery surface. Now I'll put foam dimension just on the left side of the sentiment and adhere it in place. For embellishments, I'm using more of the purple gem stickers that are included in the kit. I love the variety of different colors, and there are 4 sizes of each color. Put 3 in the upper right-hand corner and 2 in the lower left-hand corner. So there is my finished card, and this is card number 9. I have one more card to share with you using this beautiful kit. So we're moving on to card number 10. I selected another lovely floral pattern paper design, and I cut it out using Love from Lizi's Stitched Nested Arch dies. Using the next size up die, I cut out another arch, this time from vellum. I'll add the vellum arch down first, and I will put adhesive on the back, but I'm trying to stay more in the center. I don't want any of that adhesive to show through on the front. Toward the bottom of the card, I'm adding a 1 1/4 inch strip of the white pearlescent cardstock that's part of the card bases that are included in the kit. Along the edge of that piece, I'll add a Love from Lizi peel off, the white with silver overlay. And since most of this area will be covered up with the pattern paper die cut piece, I'm not worried about those peel offs going all the way across the card. For the background of my card, using one of the purple cardstock colors that's included in the kit, and I have it cut down to A2 size. Using some scrap white cardstock from my stash, I cut out a second arch, the same size as that pattern paper arch, and I'm only using the top portion of it, so I will trim it down. I'm adhering it behind the pattern paper arch, and by putting that piece there, it helps it stay nice and level, instead of adding that visible bump on the front of the card where it goes over that white pearlescent strip at the bottom of the card. After adhering the pattern paper arch down, I'll flip over this panel, put adhesive on the back, and add my card front onto a card base. For a final finishing touch, I'll add another pre-tied ribbon bow. I love that Lizi included all these fun pre-tied bows. So if you're terrible at tying bows like I am, you'll love these. I'll put glue dots on the back and adhere the bow at the top of the arch. And you've already noticed I stamped the sentiment Thinking of You on that pattern paper arch. Now here's another look at the 10 cards I made using Love from Lizi's September 2024 super kit called Indigoletta. If you're interested in purchasing the kit or any of the products I used in this video, I do have links in the description box below. This is a monthly kit, so quantities are always limited. The only way to guarantee receiving a kit is to sign up and subscribe, and I have included a link for subscribing in the description box. I had so much fun guest designing for Love from Lizi. I've always enjoyed using her products. Her kits are amazing and always packed full of unique and fun crafty goodies. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.